morning here from day 2 here at our little JBay hideaway, and you can see Christine in the back there. She's busy editing a book that she's written. Hello Christine.
Hi.
So an interesting thing happened to me yesterday as I went surfing. There's a thing in surfing called localism, and localism is where the local people in the break feel like they've been threatened by people coming from the outside and surfing on their break. So yesterday I caught this wave, and well, let me take you to the place and show you what happened. So as I was saying, so yesterday I was surfing this is a place called Super Tubes. It's a famous right-hand point break, and there was a peak over there, and then probably about 40 meters down the road there was another peak over there. And so when I first got out, there was about 5 of us out on this peak, and eventually 4 of the guys, or 5 of the guys, they paddled down to further down, probably about 25, 30, 40 meters away from me. And so there were distinctly 2 peaks. And what I found out later was that the 5 guys down to this peak, they were all locals. So most of the waves I caught, they caught out there, and most of them kind of finished off just in front over here at the rocks. So probably about a 50, 60 meter ride. And then the second peak, the guys were taking off there, and they were finishing off down at the car park. Anyway, so I get this wave, it's a bomb, and it connects through to this peak. And so I catch this wave and I surf all the way down there, probably maybe 100, 150 meter ride. I paddle past it. There's a guy sitting on this peak over here. I paddle past him and I go up to where I was sitting, point. And the guy down in the middle over here, he points his finger at me. And I'm thinking, well, what's going on? Why is he doing that? And I first thought he was saying, hey, like a wave, bro. But he wasn't saying that at all. And eventually I realized he was cross with me. So I paddled over across to him, and he then informed me that he's a local, and these 4 guys down here were locals, and that I had now paddled past the locals to the top end of the peak, and I was about to kind of dominate the top of the peak. And he reminded me that the locals have priority on the waves, and that now that I was kind of pushing my way into the top end of the point. And so I kind of said to him, but listen buddy, there are 2 peaks, there's a peak there and there's a peak there, and where must I sit? He said no, he wants to be welcome to JBay, he wants me to have a good time. He's not going to be, you know, aggressive or anything, but I am breaking the rules. I'm going to the top of the peak. And I said, listen, where do you want me to sit? He said, no, you can sit there, you can sit there. And eventually we kind of resolved the fact that, you know what, I actually still don't know what the hell he was talking about. But anyway, I caught other waves, they kind of finished off here, nothing really rained through, and eventually kind of that peak began to drop off, and I joined them on this peak and eventually surfed happily ever after. But actually, you know what, when it first happened, I was really kind of bummed out, because I really don't think I was dropping in or I was doing anything that was unethical, because I'm kind of laid back in the water. So anyway, the whole thing of localism kind of got stirred up. It's the first time at JBay I've ever had kind of a conversation about that. I must admit, the guy wasn't confrontational, he wasn't aggressive, he wasn't, he was just trying to put me in the place. I did feel like saying to him, I'm not a schoolboy, you don't have to point your finger at me, you may as well just come and have a chat to me. But at the end of the day, everything is fine, and I must admit I had a good session, and I'm very grateful to actually be here. So what's the deal with localism? Well, it's an interesting thing, because I certainly understand that. I mean, more and more people are surfing, more and more of the lineups have been crowded, and people who live and work in the area want to surf in their spot, and they have all these guests and these visitors. And really it speaks to me a little bit about cliques and insiders and outsiders, as we have in all kinds of and all ways of life. I think about church and church members. So many times I've heard stories of people who come to church and they can't kind of break in because everybody has their relationship, everybody has their clique. I'm not a fan of localism at all. I think that there are many waves, and that if everybody just kind of cooperates in the lineup, things will work out just fine. But the same goes for everything in life. I think The gravitational pull for all of us is to always kind of gather around our cliques, always kind of feel safe amongst our own community, our own people, as it were. And there's nothing wrong with that. The thing that's wrong is that when we differentiate ourselves and we begin to alienate others and make them feel like outsiders or excluders. More and more we're living in a world where we need to be inclusive. More and more there's a threat to polarization. And it's an absolute fact that when we connect with people, when we begin to understand other people who are different to us, who think differently, behave differently, dress differently, listen to different music, when we begin to extend and go beyond the bounds of our own safety, of our own kind of localism, we begin to grow as people, we become more generous, we become more understanding of different cultures. Just remember, when you stop at a robot, when you walk in the mall, when you look into the face of someone else, they're image bearers of God. Remember that, and I'm sure it'll affect your life and it'll give you a greater generative spirit as we share this incredible planet with so many people. Cool, man. Thanks for watching, and hey, maybe tomorrow there'll be another thought. Cheers.